Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rafecal. This is the Zelda Randomizer because I have a problem. This is actually my third time trying to start this recording because things keep coming up. And, which is totally okay, because, you know, real life stuff comes first, but I've started each one by saying, this may be a slightly more segmented run than normal because, you know, I've got some stuff that I'm expecting to come back today, and I may have to interrupt it, so I'm going to try and do shorter segments than normal. And apparently those shorter segments have never made it past, like, about here. So, for those of you who have not seen one of these videos before, Zelda Randomizer is Link to the Past. You know, you have the same basic goal, get all the crystals, beat Ganon. The difference is that the treasure chests are randomized. Basically, any items that could be like key items, like a lot of keys, the dungeon items like the compass, the heart or pretty much all heart containers and heart pieces, including the ones you get from bosses, items you get as a reward from NPCs like the Hasrala, or even like the sick kid or the bottle bender, King Zora. And pretty much every regular treasure chest in the game, actually not pretty much, every regular treasure chest in the game is mixed up. They're all jumbled. Now, they keep it within reason. They have an algorithm in place to keep it so the game flows, so nothing ends up in an impossible to reach place. You know, the keys for each dungeon are still in that dungeon, that sort of thing. Same with the map. Each dungeon still has the same number of small keys it normally does, in accessible locations. You know, it can't require you to go get the flippers, like, under the bridge, stuff like that. You may have also noticed the enemies drop different items than normal. Those pools have been randomized. There's also a few other things, like the dungeons that have the crystals that I mentioned are randomized. So they're not all in the normal place. That being said, the game is still what it is. Our goal here, and there's the flipper speaking of, our goal here is to basically follow the chain of logic the game presents us. So we got the flippers. So one of the first things I'm going to be doing is checking under the bridge because I have access to it. That's kind of the whole way that this works, is you start off with access to, like, Kakariko Village, a few things on the south side of, like, Hylia, a few items in the Lost Woods, a few other places around the overworld. Those are the only places you can access to start with. Based on the items you find there, you figure out which dungeons are available, you figure out which dungeons you need to beat, and you figure out which locations you can now access based on what you find. So, if you find the Power Glove, you might have access to, or you gain access to Death Mountain, you gain access to the second part of, or to actually being able to finish, let's see, that would be the Desert Palace, for example. We've got some bombs in those enemy drops, which is good. We're going to want those for the escape. got Zelda, we got flippers. We're just gonna bum rush the rest of the escape here. Okay. So yeah, basically, what we're gonna be hoping to find here will be some sort of item that really opens the gate. Lets us beat a lot of levels. Power Glove is very good to get early on. The bow is required in 2 levels, and we want it to be cannon because it's silver arrows. That's why we need the bomb, because there's 3 treasure chests back here, and they can have anything now. Nope. Just some upgrades. The upgrades from the Wishing Well have been added as substitutes for some of the mundane items that you can normally find. Just kind of a way to give you access to that without having to go and deal with the Wishing Well. And to make the rewards slightly more worthwhile and impactful. Because finding just arrows in a chest when that's really out of your way, when you've already got full arrows especially, not a good feeling. Okay, so we don't have many rupees or bombs, which is really unfortunate. We want rupees and bombs right off the bat. We need 100 rupees for the bottle salesman, and we need bombs for several places in Kakariko Village. We're gonna check this tree, so you can tug on him, and he gives you items. The items are based on some weird algorithm, based on how many enemies you've killed. Yeah, we're not worrying about it. Okay, first thing we're doing is checking this cave. This cave is only accessible if you beat Aghanim, which means we can kind of see the direction that the run is gonna take based on whether or not there's an item we need there. Otherwise, we don't have to beat Aghanim. Hey, there's the 100 rupees I need for the bottle. Which is not a bottle, most likely. I may also need to buy bombs. And that should cover it. Okay. So we've got a pretty good start going here. I mean, it's not great by any means. I would love to have something like that really gets you around, like the flute or the hook shot. Those open up a lot of areas and a lot of treasure chests, most importantly. Like I said, the Power Glove and the bow are both really great for getting dungeons. We're going to need a source of fire at some point. So a fire rod or a lamp is required for like Desert Palace. It's required for a lot of dungeons, honestly. Hey, there's the lamp. The lamp also makes it so you can see in the dark. In the light world, they let you keep your lantern sprite going. In the dark world, for the randomizer, since you don't have to have the lantern, they completely leave you in the dark. head this way. Looks like a piece of heart there. We're gonna go down to the shop because I need more bombs. We can't get the item from the sick kid unless we have a bottle. So we're gonna be waiting on that one. One of the things that I'm trying to get used to is actually throwing bombs as soon as you enter an area so that you can minimize the fuse time. It's a pretty minor thing, but since one of the goals of this game is to get the best time possible with your particular run, and I have been doing this as a race. Oh good, mirror. That means we'll have access to Tower of Hera one way. We can get a Desert Palace if we get the right items, stuff like that. It's also useful for a block glitch, which I'll be doing at some point later. Oh, I did those out of order because I needed to buy bombs. Now I don't remember everything I did, but I think I'm good. I feel like I was saying something a second ago and I totally don't remember what it was. Ooh. I don't like that. So, the power glove is on the ledge there, which means we need the boots to get the power glove. And that's the Master Sword at the end of the race. So it looks like we're gonna go do the race. It's worth checking first because it does save time if you don't... Oop. Helps you if you throw it the right direction. It saves time if you don't need the item. And a lot of times, you don't. There are more not useful items in this game than useful items. But hey, I'm not going to complain about getting the Master Sword before I do any dungeons. Okay. Start from Rafe's house. I'm gonna do Southern Lake Hylia and Under the Bridge. And the dam. Because there are a couple items there. So this is the first place that I'm going to do this block glitch. In this version of the game, which is the first Japanese version, as you push blocks, the mirror interacts with them in a weird way, where you can despawn them, basically. In this case, we are saving a little bit of time because I can get in, get the treasure chest, and pull the lever without making a second trip into the dam. Okay, next is Moldorm Cave. This is one of those places that's not great in the regular game, and then you get in here with the... Oh my. You get in here in the randomizer, and it has 5 treasure chests, which is really good. We also got the flute, which gives us an alternate way to Death Mountain, which means we can do Tower of Hera. It's one of those things where normally, you know, to get to Death Mountain, you need the Power Glove, but because of the way that everything works, we can actually still do Death Mountain. And it's actually even a little faster than going the other way if you use the flute. And we can get to Tower of Hera still because we have the mirror. Those crabs hit really hard. Someone pointed out those guys hit harder than like soldiers with swords and spears and stuff, or many other much scarier looking enemies. Which is a good point. Okay, we're gonna do... Sanctuary real quick. I kind of want to just finish this first little overworld, and then I'm going to stop for a little bit here. I know it's again much shorter than I have been doing, but I want to break up this video a bit more just to keep the flow going, which sounds weird, but I'd rather stop at good times that I can have good breakpoints. Okay, flute is fluted. Which means we can save quite less. We can also stop and get the bottle kit item now because we have a bottle. See what the sick kid gives us. Heart container. Okay. Let's see if this or how this goes. There's 2 more items that I want to get on the overworld, or 2 more spots I want to check quick. The first is Sahasrala's hut. That was some lag. A little bit of a matrix dodge there. In order to get the item there from Sahasrala, we're going to need the green pendant, which may be at the end of any dungeon in the game. We can check. Let's see. Looks like Desert Palace. And then we do need to do Tower of Hera and Eastern Palace for this run no matter what, because they have crystals. That's actually one of the other neat things with this is a lot of dungeons are straight up not required unless they happen to have items in them. So we're going to focus very hard on getting the dungeons that are needed, the crystal dungeons first. Those take priority. And if I happen to get to if I get stuck, basically, where there's no other treasure chests I can access, that's when I'm going to go to the other dungeons. We're going to check that item on the island. Once we get access to the Dark World, we can get a heart container there. Not a huge deal. Usually you don't need full heart containers or anything for this. So, and it's kind of an out-of-the-way one. Okay. And under the bridge. And that's the basic overworld items that you can get access to for the most part. Hey, first power glove. That means, the way those work, I'm gonna save quit so I don't waste time while I talk. The way those work, are progressive. So when you get the same with, swords, shields, armor, and that are and the gloves are progressive, which means when you get one, the other one on the map will upgrade. So now, when we get the boots, we're gonna get the Titan's Mitt instead. The same would have gone if we'd not gotten the Master Sword there. The first sword we find would have been the Master Sword, and that one would have upgraded to the Tempered Sword. So, that's the overworld for this run. I believe we're gonna do Death Mountain, Tower of Hera next, because we cannot actually beat Eastern Palace without a bow. I believe we can get everything in here at Tower of Hera. And then we'll also get, like, the item from the old man and a few other things. So, give me a like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Glad to be able to jump back in. I haven't had a chance to record because I've been out of town. And leave a comment if you have any suggestions, questions, etc. I try to get back to everyone. Mostly it's just been Mike, but hey, that's okay. And I will catch you next time.